very happy to welcome you. The relations between us have been historic, and since the Dutch traders established a fort in Marie near Cape Coast, Ghana and Netherlands, have been closely linked together. We've been holding discussions. I've met with the Dutch ambassador. We've discussed issues of our bilateral cooperation, and I believe that your coming here would consolidate some of those discussions that we've been having. Ghana's economy has very good midterm prospects in terms of growth and in terms of revenue generation. We're growing at an average above 7% per year, and so that is showing in certain sectors of the economy, especially in energy and in oil and gas. In energy, particularly, because of the robust growth, demand is outstripping our ability to provide power. Exactly a year ago, our total power consumption was about 1,670 megawatts. 1 year on, our total consumption at exactly this time is 1,920 megawatts. And so it means that we must be putting in more than 200 megawatts of power every year to be able to keep up with Ghana's demand. So that leads me to one of the major issues I wanted to talk about. That's the energy sector. And I know that Netherlands has a lot of comparative advantage when it comes to renewable energy. And so that's an area that we want to look at green technologies and see how we can plug into the experience and know-how that you have to be able to expand the proportion of renewable energy in our energy mix. We have a Renewable Energy Act which prescribes that at least 10% of our total energy consumption should come from renewable sources. And as you're aware, being close to the equator, Ghana has a lot of sunshine, so solar is probably one of the most likely candidates. And so that's an area that we probably can work on. But thermal energy, gas-fired, especially considering the prospects that we have in terms of production of natural gas, then gas-fired thermal energy is another option that we can look at. We have reformed our energy policy to allow for independent power producers. And so currently we're signing a lot of MOUs with independent power producers to produce power and feed into the national grid. Ghana has a comparative advantage to eventually become a net exporter of power if we have an excess above our own demand, because through the West African Power Pool, our transmission grids are interlocked with our neighbors. And so any excess power that we don't immediately need, we can evacuate and export to Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin, and many of our other neighbors. We have an oil and gas industry that is opening up, and so there's a lot of exploration activity offshore, and that's a growth area both in the upstream, midstream, and downstream oil and gas sectors. And so if there are Dutch companies that are interested in exploring this area, that's an area we can collaborate with. We have some short-term challenges with the economy. In 2012, the deficits, went quite high to about 11.8%, but we're implementing some homegrown measures to try and consolidate the fiscal, and we're beginning to see some progress. The deficit is coming down, not as fast as we would want, and in circumstances like this, deficits don't drop overnight. It takes multi-year to be able to bring them back under control. But we're determined to bring it back into single digit and bring it as low as possible. And so we're implementing some homegrown measures, and we've been calling on our partners to join with us to see how we can implement these measures successfully. But areas of investment, aside from energy, include agriculture. And Ghana is looking to utilize the advantages we have under the economic partnership agreement to increase our exports into the EU market. And I know that Netherlands will be a favorable destination for us to be able to achieve this. And so that's an area we're willing to share expertise with Dutch companies that are into the agricultural sector, both for local consumption and for export. But then another area of interest is transport. We had a delegation visit Rotterdam Port, which has a reputation of being one of the best ports in the world. And we're hoping that our ports in Ghana, Tema or Takrady, could become the Rotterdam of Africa. And so we're looking to improve efficiency. Our ports are in competition with each other on the West Coast. We have the port in Senegal, we have the Abidjan port, we have Ghana's two ports, Takrady and Tema. We have the Lome port, we have the Nigerian Apapa port, and all these ports are in competition for business, both to handle local imports, but at the same time to handle imports for the landlocked countries, further north. And so the more efficiency you put in your port operations, the more you can bring in more volumes through your port, because every shipper is looking for the port where he can have a quick turnaround. Yeah. And knowing that the Netherlands has a lot of proficiency when it comes to port operations, I think that visit opened the eyes of our people to what is capable, what is possible between our two countries. And so I hope that your visit with the private sector from Netherlands would open, new opportunities when it comes to the area of ports and, general transportation. And so you're warmly welcome again. I hope you enjoy your visit. And thank you very much.